welcome to the Redbeard Show! And a Merry fucking Christmas to all of you. And a happy marijuana, or whatever you happen to celebrate in your house. Celebrate it! I'm having a good time here in my basement of my house. Got some lovely ladies in the room today. Mrs. Beard's here behind me monitoring the chat for me. Right off the start, I want to thank the Vancouver Seed Bank, as always, for sponsoring my show. Vancouver Seed Bank is the source for your genetics. They can't be beat. They got everything, gosh, dozens and dozens of seed breeders, hundreds of strains, and they're at vancouverseedbank.ca. They ship freaking anywhere. Anywhere. I also want to thank Kind Selections for their amazing medicine. I've just got some fresh mail this week. Really appreciate that, and for helping the medical marijuana patients of Canada. And on the same note, Redbeard extracts. Big time. Thank you, Redbeard, for making some amazing extracts. As he says, he keeps his terpenes intact, and I can attest to that. So I want to tell you about another sponsor, and he's actually kind of been a behind-the-scenes sponsor, to tell you the truth, for a little while now, because he's been sending me these awesome t-shirts. But I just want to formally acknowledge Dirty Dave Productions Limited for sending me these awesome t-shirts. This one is by the artist Lester Ned Jr. And I do believe he's a local BC Aboriginal artist. And I'm stoked to wear a shirt. And these shirts can be found at CCHQ 307 West Hastings, Mark Emery's shop. So get your ass down there. They got Boxing Day sales on right now, so I can tell you, I think they might still be on, but these were just on sale. So get down there and get shopping. Pretty happy story here behind me. These are Sour Diesel ladies. I grew this strain about a decade ago, and it was just one of my favorite strains to grow. It worked really well as medicine for me. It gives me a really good appetite. It also kills pain and definitely helps with my digestion. So we'll talk about that Sour Diesel, and it is a true East Coast Sour Diesel. And for the longest time, I wasn't sure if I liked the East Coast Sour Diesel or the New York City Diesel. I wasn't sure what the difference was. But this is it. This is the one. It smells so fuely. It's just insane. So, as you may have noticed, this is our 50th episode. Woohoo! I'm pretty stoked on that. I feel like it's quite the accomplishment I've done, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the show and how it's been going. If you got any recommendations on future shows, let me know. Always taking suggestions. As to celebrate, we're going to give away this fucking amazing piece right here. I made this on an episode that was titled Mmmm Donuts. So if you want to see me make this piece, you can go and watch that episode. And Vancouver Seed Bank usually gives away their seeds at 420. What do you think, Mrs. Beard? Should we just get this done and over with right off the top of the show? You're the decision maker here. You're wearing the pants. I'm wearing a skirt. Camera can't see it, but yeah, let's do it right now. So I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Everyone, pay attention now. I'm going to a screenshot. Ba-bam! Oh, that's the chat. There you go, and from 1 to 4,200, and generate. Holy crap, 26 is the answer. That's really low. Well, there you go. Back to the camera. Back to chat. 26. Look at that. How about that? That's not so bad for a technically challenged guy. Hey, I worked that screenshot pretty good.
Should I go to Facebook and grab my
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, we can. Mrs. Beard's gonna go check out the Facebook page and see if we can locate the winner. I don't care either way. We can always announce that later on. Just hitting some beautiful Afghani Kush and my favorite medicinal delivery device, the Volcano. Delicious. Just cropped that one about a week ago. It's kind of a funny strain. It always surprises me when it's ready. It's truly almost ready at 6 weeks, and by 7 weeks, it's just begging to come down. So it's one of those ones you got to keep an eye on and make sure you're flushing in time.
When I opened Facebook, it ruined mine.
Oh, well, there you go. Screw Facebook. Facebook takes over the broadband. We're up on the mountain. We don't have such a broad Band. Broad.
Man.
Man. Anyway, so that's awesome. I hope someone guessed low. I'll bet you someone guessed 42. So I'm happy to give that away. I got some more show and tell for you. Here's the piece I made over in Kelowna at Hemp City. That turned out pretty good with the triple bitch around the bottom of it. Check out Ashley Bannerman's marbles. Can you see that, Mrs. Beard, on the camera?
Yes.
Just beautiful fumed implosion marbles. I tell you, Blowfish Glass, very talented. She also, may I remind you, does memorial marbles, which I've not seen before. And it looks very much like this marble here. In fact, I think that's a bit of her, I don't know whose ashes that is. It's a mysterious person's ashes in this bone. No, I'll ask Ashley. Maybe it was her dog, or maybe it's just some ashes to show the effect. But anyway, so that was a lot of fun. And also, you haven't seen this one yet. The one I kind of ran out of glass and gas and time on, but this is the paperweight Vortex marble that we made just a couple shows ago. And that was a lot of fun, man. This is a heavy piece. I think I weighed it. It's right around 2 pounds. So kind of fun. It's got the jackpot sparkle colors on the back. I flattened it slightly here so it can sit this way. And I might just gift that to my old man someday, or we'll see what happens to that. So anyway, I hope you're all having a good time and a good holiday where you are. I know I am. January's right around the corner, and I've dedicated most of January to making these, my mug pipes. So if you're interested in getting a mug pipe, you better holler at me soon, because I'm going to be getting to work, eh? Delicious, I tell you. Alright, so we've had a lot of fun on this show over the year. Thought maybe we'd talk about some of the highlights, some of the fun times we've had. And there's been a loyal viewer in the chat from the start. Goes by the name of Riffle66 or something like that.
He's asking about his piece.
Oh, get ready, get set, buddy. You're in the fucking kiln. That's right. I'm finally getting to work. I promised I'd get this piece done by the end of the year. So like the true procrastinator, leave it till the deadline man that I am, I put it in the kiln. So this is a fun piece. I gotta tell you, it's got some history to it. I thought you might appreciate it. Let me pull it out and show you, and then we're gonna then we'll get to work. This is actually a piece I made at the very beginning of the show, one of the first episodes. I honestly can't remember. Under the first 10 or 20 anyway, but it was an episode where I had Sibo over in the shop, and we did a collab together, and it looks like this, but the way I built it, it don't function. It don't work. I fucked up. I must have been a little bit tipsy that day. So it's got a nice dichrome marble around by the base there. So I just got to take it apart, put it back together. I'm going to shorten this bit here. It's actually what happened is the percolator, all the holes are facing upright. You got to pay attention that it's the other way down with the holes facing down, or the water, it just don't fucking work. So anyway, it's got some nice reversals here, some bow ties on it, and I've got some similar tubing if I need to make anything else. And it's the right size joint for the guy. He wanted an 18 mil. So that's what I'm doing. That's what we're going to do today on the show. So, first thing to do is have a dab, because you gotta have a dab before you start. And I got these amazing extracts from Kind Selections. What's that, Mrs. Beard?
Riffle is happy.
Oh, good. That would suck if you were disappointed in the looks of that one. So, let's have a dab. I got here some Kind Selections. And I'm stoked on this super, what's it called again? The Sour G. I happen to have some Sour G in my grow room. So it's lovely to be able to taste, hear and extract what I'm growing in my room. Because I obtained my clones from Kind Selections. So they do also have clones, capsules, gel, like a cream, muscular cream. So stoked on that. Alright. Awesome. Now I'm keeping my glass nail in the kiln. That's my latest trick so it doesn't crack on me and I can heat it up right quick. Ba-boom. Well, happy 50, y'all. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for tuning in all these times. I hope you've watched all the shows. It's kind of fun going back and watching the earlier shows. There's the piece I made at the glass gathering. If you haven't seen that film, I hope you go do it. Go check it out. It's on YouTube, The Great Canadian Glass Gathering, the movie. This is a collab with at least a dozen people on it. The figures here were made by Chris Kahuna Art. Alright, well let's turn the fan on. It's getting warm in here. Woo! And let's dismantle this bong and put it back together properly. No big deal. One of the things I'm going to need is an 18-19 mil female, and I'll just put that in the kiln now. I'll grab that other joint with this, and it's nice to have that preheated or you'll crack that joint. Right on! Here we go. So last week, was that last week I was in Vancouver? I think it was. Yeah, that was fun. A little disorganized as usual, but hey, you know, it's a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at Glass Studio. So last week's show was a little bit last minute. I was late getting to the city. But anyway, they got a super amazing shop, the shop with no name, and I can't wait to see what becomes of it as more artists enter it. As I said on that show, whenever you get a group of artists in one spot, and they really challenge each other, and the skill levels really go up fast. Everyone pushing each other. Alright, so I'm just going to put a flow tube on the top of this. Sure that's on there nicely because that's going to be holding the whole weight of the piece. Oh wow, this sour diesel smells so good. It's so strong. When I grew it about 10 years ago, I actually got in trouble a couple times because of how stinky it was. And not a lot of trouble, just for instance, one time we were at the hardware store and the lady came over and said, "You boys smell like marijuana, something fierce." And that was the owner of the store. Oh, geez, wow. Yeah. How about that, we said. And I know my neighbor who lived about a kilometer away, Maiko Aiko. It's actually a place I used to live at. He could smell my crop, and this is definitely a kilometer down the road. I had 2 charcoal filters in the room and another charcoal filter just outside the room. Just crazy. Alright, so taking it apart. Just set that in the kiln. I think I'll just clean up the bottom of this and pop that hole again because this part here I think can stay as it is. Nothing wrong with this part here. It's got a nice reversal. 2 nice bow ties. Pardon me? Oh, Vancouver Seed Bank is giving away seeds in the chat room. So if you're watching this live, get your asses in the chat for some free genetics. If you're watching this on YouTube, well, next week, tune in Saturday live and get yourself in the chat for some free prizes. love shopping at Vancouver Seed Bank. Definitely one of the highlights of my city trips. Going through their catalog, picking out some goodies. Alright, so... That was quick? Who won?
28 dabs later.
Oh, that guy's won before, I think. Good, he's got a garden going by now, I hope. 28 dabs later. Kicking butt.
Speed test.
Alright, so just... I think I better, let's see, so the holes are there. I gotta pull it apart here. Just trying to figure out, plan how I'm gonna pull this apart. And I better just take the marble base off, because I need to pop a hole in the right spot here. And that's awesome. I remember making this. Sibo did the section that I'm in my hand right now. You can tell because he drew the colors on the outside. It's not the way I do it. It's pretty awesome. So just slowly pulling this apart. Right on. So next week I'm on the road again. I'm going to be going to Alberta. Hoping to hook up with one or two of my buds out there. Definitely be seeing Walter Contreras. And do believe we'll be at his shop. Hopefully we'll get in touch with Barracuda and see if we can hook up with him too. He's in the area. Set this end down. So just heating the tube up there. I want to try to even out the wall where that was. There we go. All right. Pretty funny. Must not have thought of it when I was putting it together the first time. I put the in-line upside down. Ah well, it's always good to make good on the mistake, fix it up. Now this piece has been in 2 episodes. Guess that's what you get when you have to wait about a year, eh? Ha! I have, it's a double foot pedal because my torch has 3 torches. It's a Delta Mag torch. So, so now I'm just looking at the inline and the holes are facing down this way. So I need to pop the hole up this way. I'll just do that now. so I got a hole pop there. That's where the stem will go back on. Just set that back in the kiln for a soak. Time for another dab. Woohoo! Oh, I wanted to show you the beer I'm drinking too. This beer is fantastic. And it's from my local hometown. Pretty fun name of the brewery, Bad Tattoo Brewery. But this is the West Coast IPA. Pretty awesome label, kind of suits the shirt I'm wearing today too. It's got some Aboriginal art, First Nations art. Stoked to support my local breweries and my local fellow businessmen. Yeah. Alright, so I had the Sour G last time. I'm gonna hit this OG Kush. Just lovely looking. Let me hold a piece up for the camera. This is Shatter. Just a lovely transparency. Kind Selections has this great big fancy oven vacuum chamber that they use. And a closed loop system to reclaim their butane, so that's pretty environmentally friendly as well. Oh, but I forgot to put my nail in the kiln. So I guess here's to how you show, if you've got a piece that's been cold and it's not in the kiln and you want to heat it up, you need to introduce it slowly to the flame. So we'll just take this nail, my tweezers. The first thing I'm going to do is reduce all the oxygen out of the torch. Turns it to this yellow flame. So this is what we call a reducing flame. And at this level of propane, it's simply just a propane torch. But it's not like a propane air torch, because there's no air on even, so it's just simply propane. So it's definitely coats your nail in soot. And actually, when you're heating up glass like this, that soot acts like a protective layer in some regards. And so what I'm doing is just slowly increasing the oxygen level and reducing the propane and changing the flame from yellow slowly to blue. And that's how you introduce something slowly into the flame. Now it's a glass nail, so I can hit it with an oxidizing flame. Don't do this type of flame if you got one with titanium. You'll just oxidize your nail immediately. Oh yeah. I like the glass nails though. Makes sense. It's a renewable resource for me. A nice big fat dab of some OG Kush. Hey, Mrs. Beer.
Someone was wondering, can you use that brown beer bottle to make into a bomb? Or is it a totally different soft glass?
It's a totally different glass. So yes, I could do something with it. I could melt it in my kiln, stretch it out, like you remember maybe you've seen that at the carnival, where they stretch bottles out, refill it with like a blue liquid, and then they sell like a pop bottle with like this. I could do that too, yes, but I can't combine this type of glass with this type of glass. It's two different types of glass. So that's the answer. Whew! That was good. That tasted good. All right, so next in the job here, I guess I could put this top back on, and then I've got to remove the inline now from this part. So I might as well just put this back on the top. That makes sense to me. Yeah, well, that's our cat cheese noodle making an appearance. Pretty funny cat. He'll be living in the bus one of these days. Be tackling the bus in the last of this year, beginning of next year. Got some serious renovations to do on that. So there I've just done the weld, and it's a matter of getting both sides equally hot, touching, and then you slight pull away. So the first thing I'm going to do here is get rid of this this piece here that was going to the dome, to the bowl that holds the nail. Yeah, I never noticed that. It's got a bow tie right on the end of it too here. I think that's like 3 bow ties on this piece. Alright. So, just gonna pull this off. And I'll get this in the kiln. It's pretty fun taking apart and reassembling a piece like this. So far so good. Now I'm just going along back to that weld I did, just making sure that it's perfectly smooth all the way around. It's a neat red in this tube that strikes clear when you heat it. It's like a ruby red. And then as it cools down, it turns back to red. Pretty chirpy. So just letting it cool down for a second so that I don't get the whole weld too soft. Wipe off a little bit of kiln dust here. Pretty sweet piece though. Check out that bow tie up top. I remember making that about a year ago. Yeah. Getting there. We got a lot of fun planned for 2015. I hope to come to a town near you in the latter part of next year. I'm gonna do a tour of some of my friends' shops across Canada and into the States. Alright, well this is looking good. Just about done here. Last spot on the weld. And that is just fine. I still got to work over here, but it's a little cool, so I better get back in the kiln. The kiln is one of the tools you use the most in glass blowing. If you're new to the game, use your kiln a lot. Every few minutes, get it in there. Get it in there. It's a nice heat that's soft, and like the heat comes at it from every angle because it's soaked in this box of heat, right? Unlike the torch, which blasts it from one side or another. So what to do but have more dabs, eh? I'd say. I haven't opened this one up yet. The Wappa Space Wax. I used to save these for my vapor pen. These guys gave me a vapor pen, but like all vapor pens I've ever had, I broke this one. But actually, I broke the charger. So the vapor pen still works. I broke the dang charger. So I'm gonna have to go shopping down at CCHQ next time I'm in the city. Get myself a new vapor pen, because this wax sure is a nice texture for loading pens. So let me just show you what this one looks like. Just to open this one. So it's got quite a bit darker color. And it's got like a, gosh, it's kind of like a Well, it's a waxy, definitely a waxy texture to it. Immediately starts to melt as soon as you hold it. But it's not like shatter where it just you touch it with your dab tool and it blows apart like glass. So it's quite a bit softer.
There's a question from the floor.
Yes.
Related to blowing glass.
This is Dad. This is Beard.
It should be Mrs. Dowd.
This is Dad. Mrs. Beards. Get her hot. Hold on, I'll tell you what I mean. I believe the question is, how do you flare out tubing without getting folds in it? She's going to be doing some inside out work. You need to get it really hot. So I guess right away, so you're not getting it liquid enough. As well, don't try to move the glass too much. You just need to nudge the glass into place. Here's a little diversion. So we've got a piece of tube that's already open on the end.
And also, it's not a sheet, sorry.
Oh, it's not a sheet. Oh, whatever. We're gender, I don't give a fuck on this show. So anyway, I'm just going to show you right now. I've just plunged this into the heat. I'm heating up about 1.5 inches or so of the end of the tube. A nice big flame, neutral, if anything slightly reducing. And so it's starting to glow now and it's starting to be soft, but I definitely want to get it liquid so I can move it. Also, I want to tell you about the heat gradient. You want the edge to be the softest with the glass getting harder as you move inland. That's important. So spend more time heating the very edge and then you work your flame in. So basically the width of my mirage flame. So now I've got my carbon tool ready in my hand. So I'm just going to take it out of the flame and you just gently rolling it there. You could use jacks, which simply give 2 of those at the same time. Oh, they're over behind the cannabis plant. Just like using 2 of these jacks is. But basically don't use too much strength, but just flare it out like so. I never flare too far. That's enough really to reach all the way to the inside. And actually that's how I tell, is I will just with my carbon tool follow that line of the flare. Boom, it hits all the way to the edge. So if you want to take your stringer and lay it in all the way to the edge, you can easily reach. Right? So I hope that helps. Back to work. Alright, well, and I also noticed when I was doing this piece that this piece here it's a little long, to be honest. So I needed to do something different with this. And might be fun. Maybe I'll just give it a little wig-wag. Go over that technique real quick. Because it is a lined tube going this way. It's a fade to clear, added difficulty. Fade to clears are tricky because the clear moves so much more easily than the color. It moves when it gets liquid. The viscous is the term. The color is like syrup and the clear is like thick water. Alright, so to do a really good wig-wag, you want to put that blow hose and swivel in your mouth so that you can get nice, tight wigs. I'm not going to do it simply because I'm talking to you, and having that in my mouth, it's hard to talk at the same time. So basically I'm just pulling it out. How thin you pull it is basically up to you. I recommend at least magic marker thickness, crayon thickness, getting close to thick pen thickness, just to use those for a reference. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop into the flame, I'm going to heat up just a band of the tube And I'll lift it up to the camera to show you how I do the twist. This is called the bender back technique, where I'm doing 2 twists at the same time. Now I'm not stacking this piece, so my twists can be quite sharp, and I don't have to worry about how big the wigwags are because I'm not stacking this piece. More on that later. I'll do a show about stacking wigwags. Okay, so I just get a band of glass here. Be very careful not to twist it yet. Let me just show you on the camera. Now I'm going to, here you are, bend it like this while continuing the rotation in the same direction, and then straighten out again. And you get this, and then you get a little bend in it in 2 directions. Basically makes a U shape. Ah! Well, don't worry, if I break it, I can fix it. I can fix anything. So, I'm just going to do that again all the way up and down this piece. And how much I bend it, I'm going to try to keep that consistent so that the bend is the same all the way along. Then I'll condense it and blow it into a bubble. So here's the second one. Bender back, making a wigwag pattern. So just pull it out slightly. Bend your hands down while rotating it, then back up. And then puff it out while it's still soft. Now if you've got your blowhose that swivel in your mouth, which I really suggest you do, you'll get much tighter wigwags. But this is how I learned to do these, so I can kind of fall back to this without much difficulty. I never had a blow tube and swivel for the first 8 or 10 years that I blew glass. So there you go. Now I was overemphasizing the bender back for the camera, so you really don't need to bend much. Just keep the rotation. I'm turning it the top towards me, and then I just bend both sides back. Wow, just like that. Happens pretty fast. And if you want to learn more about this technique, you'll have to go back and watch my Wigwags and Whatnot show. I'll be doing another show on this, I don't know when, pretty soon though. I've been thinking about that kind of Jason Lee inspired tribal stacks, or just different ways of stacking wigwags on top of each other to get different patterns. Turning it sideways, you know, stacking 4 up, turn sideways, stack another 4 on the side of it. You can get into some pretty awesome patterns, but it's very time consuming. And I think that's why you don't see this wigwag technique used a lot, is it's simply so time consuming. This is just one wigwag ball that I'm working on now. Imagine pieces with dozens and dozens of them. The most I've done is somewhere in the neighborhood of 120 or so. If you want to see some of the most insane wigwags I've done, go on my Facebook page and check out May is the month for minis. All the mini pieces I took to Toronto last year. That's actually where I met Ripples at the Treating Yourself Expo and Cannabis Cup. Met a lot of good people at that show. Alright, so now I'm just going to gather this all up into a roundish ball. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I do just want to gather it up so I can look at it. It's still got the glass-on-glass joint on this side. That was what came apart and fell onto the table there. No worries. So just gathering it up. It's very difficult actually not to twist the glass at this stage, and that just takes a lot of practice. Just turning your hands at the same pace, in the same direction. And there's ways of making it easy on yourself by just getting yourself into a rhythm, kind of memorizing that pace in your head, and then as you rotate up to your face, if you don't have your blowhose and swivel in, you just maintain that rhythm. Just like that. there. So now I've got the whole piece kind of heated. I'll just turn it into a nice brown disc maybe, or incorporate a little bit of this ball too here. That's what's really neat about glass, being able to take an old piece, put it in the kiln, rework it, decide on a different shaping. There's really no age limit to it. Alright, well, it's getting thicker. The whole idea was shortening this shaft because the joint didn't need to be so darn high up in the air. It was almost the size of the mouthpiece. So just to remove my punty, now I can have myself a drink, heating up just the end of this gather. Yeah?
Somebody asked if you've got any tips on getting a nice round ball after putting it in a weak way.
Even heat. It's all about your heat base, your heat gradient, and your heat base. And that just means even heat, no hot spots. Turn it evenly. You're basically working on half of your sphere at a time, basically like a marble. Because if you work over the half, it'll get floppy on your handle. So at this stage of the game, I'm just heating it up here. Getting it more towards round. And what's tricky getting it round with a fade to clear ball is the clear wants to blow out before the color. Oh well. Ha. Well, it hit the deck, but it's still good. It picked up a shard of glass, but watch. As soon as it cools a little bit, it just taps off. Just grab it with my Kevlar so I can grip it and just push it into my handle a little bit there. So that's pretty good though. That's all I needed to do. Heat that spot where the glass stuck to it. Take that divot out.
And when you do wig, you pull it thin first, and then
That's right.
And then condense it.
Yeah, that's right.
Put together.
Yeah, the condensing and putting back together is the trickiest part. There's no doubt. All right. So. Paddle to get this into the final shape. Now I'm going to pop a hole on the bottom here. Gotta be careful I don't shoot this thing off again. So I'm just going to flare that hole open, get it ready. I'm going to weld that onto onto the inline. Perfect. So just kind of a wigged out ball on the side there. That'll look good. Alright, so Let's take a look at this piece again now. This is where that's going to attach to. I've just got to melt down where I pulled it off and put it on the top side. I also couldn't help but notice how popular the giveaway contest was for the 50th episode. So that makes me think I should probably give away some more glass, eh? So you can look forward to that in 2015. My partner Jan Little sure has inspired me to that end as well. If you are into paintings and into art, I want to ask you to go check out Jan Little Art on Facebook and Instagram. She's kind of doing a big giveaway every 10 days or so. She's going to give away an original piece of art, painted. And so you can get yourself on that mailing list. This is weird. But yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Not really on Instagram. Yeah.
Not Instagram as much as Facebook. Get on Facebook. Check it out. If you're not on Facebook, get on Facebook. Check it out. Alright, so I just popped a hole on that inline, and that's where I'm going to put this reversal ball that we just worked on. So let's see. I think that way would look pretty sweet. Let's do it. Let's do it. I notice this one here is not as big as the one in my left hand needs to be bigger, so I'm just going to flare that out now. There we go. No problemo. So I'll just take this handle off. Maybe I'll put it in the kiln in case I need it again later. And then this weld is pretty wide. When it's nice and wide like this, I like just polishing it. I don't need to brace it. Just don't be in a hurry. You don't need to get the whole weld liquid at once. We'll just work our way around slowly. Again, every time I join two pieces of glass, there's a weld spot. You need to heat that weld up to smooth the glass, to make sure that it's not going to break in that spot. Let that cool for a sec. Decent. There we go. Freaking perfect. Priceless, I'd say, hey? Dang, yeah. Looking good. Time for another dab, I'd say. So that wax wasn't too bad. Not as good, I have to say, as the shatter. Maybe that's just personal preference, because there's nothing wrong with the wax. But I'm going back to that OG Kush wax. This is amazing. Again, if you want to support my sponsors, I'd like you to go check out Kind Selection Extracts. They make cannabis extracts, creams, gel caps, clones sometimes available if you're local. And I want you to check out Shatterbeard Extracts as well. Both these guys are on Facebook. And they've got just great medicine. And it's really what I'm trying to tell you is you have options. You don't need to be ordering from the licensed producers. Companies like the Tweed Nonsense and all of those guys. While I see them being a necessary service, I'm looking for my dabber. I'm going to have to just make a new one. I see there are a necessary service for maybe folks that live in the city and, you know, they can't grow their own, they don't know where else to go, but I wonder when there's amazing people like these folks, Kind Selection, Shatterbeard, that are providing medicine, you don't need to go to those crazy licensed producers. They're not necessary. Anyway, we took great strides with the MMAR Coalition against repeal this year, and look forward to more fundraising events in the new year. Trial starts pretty soon on that topic, so see how that turns out. And again, I'll take the moment to thank my other sponsors, Vancouver Seed Bank, as always, for providing the most amazing genetics. If you want ladies like these, that's where you gotta find them. VancouverSeedBank.ca. And a big thanks to 30 Day Productions Limited with these awesome t-shirts. This is artist, what's his name? Lester Jed Jr. Lester Jed Jr., you freaking killed it. This shirt's awesome. Support your local artists, yo. And that's what I'm doing with this dab right here. Because these guys are artists. Nice, tasty dabs. That's lovely. And I really like the glass nail for my full flavor. Never really seems to get too hot. I might be wrong, but I think the titanium nails can get too hot. And I know I've had, hey, there's my dabber. I know I've had dabs that are way too hot. It really burns the lungs. So glass nails for the win. Alright. Okay, well, let me get the base ready for this bad boy. And we are just about freaking done the repair. Imagine that. Imagine that. Pretty sweet marble. Oh, I noticed this is a quick lesson on dichroic. How's my focus on the camera there, sweetie? Yeah, I know. Let's see if you can see it. What I'm trying to point out on this dichro is it's kind of in the fleck pattern, as opposed to the needle-like effect. And when you're pulling dichro, if you pull it, cutting it one way off the sheet, you get one effect, and the other way gives you another effect. One being the flex, F-L-E-C-K is what I'm saying there, like square, roundish flecks of dichroic, little spots, as opposed to the needle effect, which is just like all needles kind of facing in a direction when you twist it. Alright, so I'm just going to clean up the top of this base here. By the time I get that ready, the piece in the kiln will have soaked long enough to pull it out again. Again, next week I'll be on the road. Tune in for a fun episode in a stranger's shop. I think we'll be visiting with Walter Contreras in the town of Canmore. We're going up to visit family for the holiday. Alright. Got that base ready. ready to go. Let's pull out that other piece. Now with this one, I'm going to try to one-time it, which means I'm going to get this marble nice and soupy. And the bottom of this will be a nice glowing, warm, hot. And then I'll press on, and with a pull away, the weld will be done in one shot. Hey, it looks pretty good. I think that's much better this way with the round next to the disc. Brought that down a couple inches. I like that much more. Just wipe some kiln dust off of this. So just getting the base nice and hot. And get ready for the one time.
Did you make that marble?
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, it's super. Alright, well, looks pretty good. Looks like I gotta polish this backside just a little. Now that's thick glass, so I just gotta hold position here for quite a minute. Quite the minute. And just allow that to set up. It's like cement hardening, really. It's like molten glass cooling. It's like that. So, that looks deadly. And the marble's got like a little bit of a twist in the side, so it's kind of like a galaxy. It's pretty great. Gonna start doing a little polish on this side. Alright, it looks pretty straight. See if it's got the Redbeard lean.
It's too straight. No,
It's,
you made it.
I know, if it's too straight, no one will know I made it. That's how you tell the Redbeard counterfeits. They're too straight. Always a bit of a crook, always a bit of a lean, eh? I can actually identify what year my pieces were born by the percentage of lean. Because the time I was in Birkin, my workbench was inadvertently, accidentally on a slight angle. So when I flattened some tall bubblers and such, they showed that angle by a certain lean. And I know that when I moved to the next shop, I lessened the lean, but not quite eliminating. Look at that! And I got the clear on this side, so when you're hitting it, it's gonna be a nice little window there. You can see your smoke action. So all we gotta do now is remove the downspout. Whoa! Jeez. It's all good. Butterfingers. So have a drink. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy marijuana. That's about all I got for you. Let's have another dab together. Let's hit this sour Jeep. Pardon?
Baby dab?
Oh, yeah. Baby dab for the Mrs. Beard behind the scenes. Indeed. Let me get that. Baby dabs. Well, I think that's pretty much the show. I'll remove that mouthpiece and that bong is done and done. For my friend Riffles, who's got a hell of a lot of patience. Thank you, my friend. And so let me just say, I want to thank my sponsors. They've made this show a lot funner, easier to make for me. It really helps me out to produce the show. And so I just want to express my heartfelt thank you to VancouverSeedBank.ca. I want to thank them for shipping seeds freaking everywhere. There you go. I want to thank Kind Selections and Shatterbeard Extracts, two different, so totally separate companies and individuals who are helping provide medicine for Canadian medical marijuana patients. If you need to get in touch with them, look them up on Facebook. I know they're on that social media quite a bit. Or you can contact me personally and I can get you in touch with them. Get your paperwork in order, please. And then last but not least, Dirty Dave Productions Limited with these awesome t-shirts that you can find at CCHQ. That's Mark Emery's Cannabis Culture headquarters. They're located at 307 West Hastings in Vancouver. I was just down there last weekend having a big sesh, stocking them up, checking out and visiting with my friends. And as always, I want to thank my local grow shop, Better Than Nature, for providing me the neat things I need. Oh, and I do have a pre-announcement. The word is that I'm going to be working with Urban Grower Brands, and we are going to be teaming up in the new year. So with more sponsorship and with more nutrient tests on my flowers. So this dab is for you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Marijuanica. And please stay safe and support your local businesses and artists. Visit redbeardglass.ca and don't forget janlittleart.ca. janlittle.ca. Thanks, guys. Peace, and I'm out. See you next year.